This is so fun. Did you write? She's literally glowing. Yeah. This is so fun. Did you write? She's literally glowing. Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we are live, which is very exciting. So welcome. Thank you all for being here. I'm so excited to anyone who is joining in with us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. If you are watching later, thank you for coming back and watching our videos. We're really excited. And this is WE-Solation. So WE-Solation started as we all went into isolation and decided that we didn't want to do that alone. We wanted to create a fun space for us to get together as a community and share skills and have fun. And so that's what this is. And it's a partnership project between myself, Adriana, I'm the founder of Collective Impact Journey, Lynn and Tony, who you see, hello. They are the founders behind Plastic Free TO. And then we have Sophie, who's not with us yet. She'll be joining in a little bit. She's the founder of Your Eco Friend. And we are joined today by Sarah. I will let you do a little introduction to yourself. Thanks for joining, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I run The Good Glow on Instagram currently, and it's all about celebrating and sharing the knowledge around natural skincare and how that can give you beautiful glowing skin.
Well, we are really excited to hear about that because your skin is glowing. We were just talking about how your skin is so beautiful. So, before we do get into it though, I wanted to share a very quick video. I'm going to share my screen with you. I hopefully don't have too many tabs up, but I think we're good. Just let me know if it is it up? Can you see it?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep, perfect.
Ani, bonjour. Sarah Rockendish Dekaz. Shebenaning and Donjaba, Takaranto and Day. Takaranto, a Mohawk word. The place in the water where the trees are standing. The place where the fish weirs are. My dog and I spend a lot of time walking. It's my favorite way to move through this city. For me, it's a meditative action that isn't about negotiating bike lanes or public transit, but a time to slow down and really try to see the world around me. Concrete sidewalks, parking lots, now covering the rivers and trails that once flowed freely. The Petun, the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, the Métis, the Mississaugas all made their homes here. And many other nations expanding beyond these groups traveled through for commerce and trade for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I think of the other First Peoples languages and the names they had for this place. I think of the ancient trails covered by the pressures of settlement. The waterways and the moderate climate of the Great Lakes made it a perfect place to fish, hunt, grow food, gather medicines and seeds for horticultural development. Rich, fertile, and abundant, Turtle Island's Mesopotamia. Many First Peoples and their goods traveled from here all the way to the Mississippi and back. Whenever I travel somewhere new, I try to find out whose land I'm on, and I ask, who are the original occupants here? So for Indigenous peoples, land acknowledgements are not only to assert our sovereignty and treaty rights of today, but it's also a way for all peoples to feel more connected to a place. Davenport might be a street now when I walk down regularly in my neighborhood, but it's not just another thoroughfare. For me, it's an ancient portage trail that holds Indigenous knowledge. They say the animals made the first trails that led them to water, and the people followed. I imagine the deer and the moose once made this trail, followed by the people carrying their birch bark canoes, carrying their goods to trade and bringing stories to tell. Nations from all over Turtle Island met and traveled through this land. Many languages were spoken. Alliances and decisions were made. People from different nations met and intermarried. The dish with one spoon treaty was made. Takaranto was a meeting place and land made up of sophisticated and cosmopolitan peoples and cultures that I see reflected in the city today. I wonder, is it something in the land and the water? Land acknowledgements might seem like a small and simple gesture, but like many of our ways, they are intended to have more impact and hold more meaning than the words alone. If we pride ourselves on diversity and equality, shouldn't our story include Indigenous peoples? In this era of reconciliation, we need to share the truth first.
So I hope you enjoyed that. If you're wondering why I decided to show that today instead of just doing the land acknowledgement myself, it's because I love it. I think it's beautiful. It tells a beautiful story. And I think the part where they talk about asking, whose land am I on? I think this is a really important question that we should always be asking, no matter where we are. And it makes me think of, obviously, the situation right now that's happening in Northern BC, up in Wet'suwet'en. And so I want everyone to just maybe think about that a little bit. I hope that's maybe a takeaway. There's a really interesting, Marilyn, sorry, that's my dog. But there's a really wonderful short documentary called Invasion. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what's happening up there in Northern BC right now, it's a great introduction. So I encourage you to get on there and check it out. You can also call on the BC ministers to stop the invasion and remove the coastal gas link permits. And you can do that by going to the Lead Now website, and you can sign the petition there, and you can reach out directly to the ministers. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Sarah so you can get started showing us how to make our skin glowy like yours.
Okay, so do we want to make the scrub? That's what we're going to do right now?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
So my crew member, my boyfriend, is going to like tip my screen so you can watch me like mix it up and everything, okay?
Cool.
Oh, please,
We're getting
crew.
so fancy. Yeah, I'm I have a question before we start.
Yes.
I don't have coconut oil, but I have some coconut shavings.
Not
A different
like
type of oil and then some
substitute
coconut.
oil for an oil. So if you have any type of oil, like like a plant oil, so olive oil or grapeseed oil, any of those oils, I would refrain from like a peanut oil or a vegetable oil, canola oil, because they're kind of like overly processed and aren't really going to do anything for your skin. But any oil substitute will be fine.
How about sweet almond?
Beautiful. That's a great skin loving oil.
How much,
Sorry?
how much of the oil do we need?
That is 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a really delicious oil, almond. It's gonna go on really.
I put it in my hair. It's very nice.
It is
Do
really
you
good.
put it in
Yeah. I dump oil in my hair every day. You can't tell because my hair is just a mess, but
there? If I did that, my hair would just drop. For sure. All right, so
I think you get to be more. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so the first thing you do is the title, coconut. No, coffee. We want to do like our dry ingredients first. So you want to use a 1/4 of a cup of ground coffee. You can use fresh coffee, or this jar is from our little like stovetop espresso maker, and I just every morning empty it out on a dish and let it dry out for the day. It's also an espresso grind, so it's going to be a lot less abrasive, but you can really use any kind of grind. Probably like a French press grind would be a little too rough and like granular. So something a little finer, like a brewed coffee or espresso. So you just toss that in a bowl, and then you're going to add also a 1/4 of a cup of salt or sugar. So I like salt because I'm a little bit extra, and I like the I like my skin to get as crazy soft as it possibly can be. I kind of want to reveal like a new layer of skin if I can when I scrub it. So salt, when it makes contact with your body and in water, which I use my scrub in the shower, so my skin's wet, doesn't dissolve very quickly, whereas sugar does. But if you have really sensitive skin, it's better to use sugar because it dissolves so quickly. It won't be as abrasive. And also salt, as you know, like if you get salt in an open cut, it's kind of stings. So if you have sensitive skin, you might find sugar a better alternative than salt. That's all. You just want something grainy that's going to scrub, right? And then I've pre-measured out an 1/8 of a cup or 2 tablespoons of rice flour. You don't need rice flour. I like it because it's so finely ground, but it doesn't, like a regular flour, it won't get gummy when it's wet. It stays granular. It like super buffs the skin. So as I said, I'm super extra and I want my skin to be as soft as it possibly can be. So that sort of buffing quality that the rice flour gives really produces very soft skin. Also, like, I'm making it a little more special when you're at home with some rice flour. If you don't have rice flour, you can use an extra tablespoon of both the coffee and the salt. So you just want to make up the volume of that within the recipe. Good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then we want to mix it up. This you want to mix up first before you add your oil. So stir, stir, stir.
I love that. All right, stir, stir, stir. I have sugar in mine. What did you add to yours?
We added
And like
sugar.
stir it up so that it's really combined, you know? You don't want to, don't let anything, it's like you're making food right now.
Smells like I'm making
So
one
it
more.
should look like that. Thank you, crew member Mark. Okay, so are we all stirred up there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So then you're gonna add your oil. The reason I like coconut oil is because coconut oil has like a really large molecular structure. It means it can clog pores because the molecules are so large they kind of can't be absorbed into the skin. But for your body, it's just super hydrating. It leaves like a protective barrier. It also just smells delicious. And I like it in this like solid form because it's really, I don't know, fun to smush. Okay, so that is 3 tablespoons of oil. But again, you can use sweet almond, you could use olive, avocado, as crew member Mark wanted to suggest. What else could you use? Grapeseed oil, jojoba oil, like any plant-based oil. The benefits to your skin are just going to be different, but I mean, ultimately, as we all know, any oil does add a level of moisture to your skin, and that's kind of what we're looking to do, right? So I've measured out 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna put it in here. All right, don't fall. This now is the patented Good Glow smush technique. I like to think of it like if you make like homemade pastry, like a pie dough or something, you kind of have to incorporate the butter with the flour in sort of a similar manner. So yeah, you're nailing it there, remember Mark? So what I do is I just start to like, how best can I show this? Like smush it in, like really smush the solid coconut oil. If you're just using like a liquid oil, like your sweet almond oil, you can just stir that up. But because this is a solid, you kind of need to just keep smushing and smushing and smushing for quite some time. And you'll start to see, like you can even see now, maybe I'll get closer, that it's like already starting to kind of clump together and change from a sort of light brown color into a darker color. Okay, before I drop this bowl, I'm gonna put it down. And you really just keep smushing until it's gonna look brown, like dark brown, like your coffee grounds originally looked. And
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How does this not clog the drain when you wash it off?
I
Or
don't
has it-
have any problems clogging my drain because it's like so fine, like it's not like big chunks of things. I'm also like germaphobe clean fanatic, so I do clean my drains pretty regularly. So I may not have had like a buildup of any of this from using it once or a couple times a week to make it clog my drain. But I would say, yes, it's an oil. It could clog your drain, but you know, practice like good tidiness and clean that drain up with some baking soda and vinegar. Get rid of that stuff.
Love it.
Yeah. The one thing though is it does make a big mess in your shower, which is fine because I think it's fun to get messy. I'm really lucky. My boyfriend installed like a removable shower head so I can like really well clean. But if you don't have that, you're just gonna have to spend some time cleaning your bathtub afterwards. Okay, so I'm pretty much like at the consistency that I want it to be at. Let me see if I can get back up here again. So like now when I'm like turning it over, I'm getting like a big chunk coming over. Can you see that? Yeah, like if I turn.
Sandbox sand.
Yeah, exactly, like sandbox sand. And if I put it between my fingers, it like holds together, like smushes. Here we go, like smushes together. Yeah, so that is the scrub. I mean, it couldn't possibly be easier. Unless it wasn't easy for you, in which case, don't feel bad.
It actually makes quite a bit as well.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot. I mean, you're gonna get a big mess, and I find I use almost the whole amount in my when I do just one application in the shower. I may have a little bit left over, but yeah, you can put it down. Thank you. Remember?
Phenomenal.
And then when you use it, I like to use it in the shower when my skin is wet. And these are some of my tips. I'm going to wash my hands now. These are some of my tips for using it. If you have long hair, put your hair up and get it out of the way because it will get oily. I mean, it's an oil, it's going to get oily. You can do the scrub and then rinse off the salt and the coffee and the rice flour. The oil will still be on your skin. To keep your skin nice and moisturized and hydrated, you can just get out of the shower and like towel off, you know, like don't scrub towel off, but like kind of pat yourself off, and you'll find that your skin is totally moisturized. You don't need to follow with one. I personally prefer to do this like first step in the shower and then wash it off and then soap it off as well, and then wash my hair and follow with the rest of my routine because I don't know, I just find I keep always getting my hair a bit oily and I don't want to do that. And then when I'm out, I'll follow with an oil or a body lotion or anything like that. So yeah, that's the scrub.
It smells amazing. My dog has been like right around here the whole time, just waiting for me to drop some of that. She also loves coconut. So, so it makes a bit as well. How long does this last for? Like how long will this stay good in a jar?
I would say quite some time. It doesn't have, if you haven't exposed it to water, obviously that's going to be your biggest issue. If you have salt in it, salt is a natural preservative, so it will last a little bit longer. The sugar one, because of the oils and the sugars, you never really know. I would say make it to use it immediately. And then if you have a little bit left over that maybe you want to use on your feet a couple days later, or like an area that's, you know, because it's going to be like a small amount, if that, or like rough elbows or rough hands, then don't wait too long to use it because we don't have any preservatives in this, and that we don't want any like, you know, microbial baddies getting into it.
Mm.
So yeah. Any other questions?
Do you put this on your face too?
No.
Okay.
Number one, no.
No, I was going for.
Like absolutely not. Please leave. I do not advocate the use of large, jagged, granular ingredients on the delicate, beautiful skin of your face. It will, over time, cause micro scratches in your skin, which are just going to kind of expedite the aging process. They could harm your facial skin. The skin on your body is just a little more resilient. So I'm a lot less kind of high maintenance for the skin on my body. And if anything, as you know, there are rougher patches of skin on your body, like I said, your feet or maybe your knees or your elbows, that could do from something a little more abrasive. For your face, I would say to use like a really fine scrub. Like you could use brown rice flour mixed with a little olive oil to make a kind of paste and scrub like that, because it's so fine. Or a chemical exfoliant. So like an alpha hydroxy acid or a lactic acid, or like the post I shared today on Instagram has yogurt in it. So it has a naturally occurring lactic acid in it, which will gently exfoliate your skin.
Good to know.
Advanced skincare here. And we need to start with like, what does skincare even mean?
Well,
no, please don't put this on your face.
Before we move on, hi, Sophie.
Oh, Sophie's here.
I made it.
Matcha mint mask. So I just looked up your newest post. This sounds amazing.
I already want it.
We're going.
I experimented and tested and like tweaked it for a couple weeks, and honestly, I'm like proud of myself. Feeling good.
I have a question. I heard once that you can use baking soda as like either a scalp sort of massager thing or like a face exfoliant in the shower. How do you feel about that?
I'm not directly opposed to it. It's a bit split, to be honest. I think that it's a little reactive. It could irritate your skin. So I personally wouldn't use baking soda in that way. But baking soda also, if you were to add it to your bath water, is good at soothing dry skin. So I know that it is definitely like a DIY at-home beauty staple for many people. I just, because like, you know, like if you add vinegar to baking soda, it bubbles up, right? Like it is totally natural. It's found in nature. It's completely fine. But yeah, I would I personally avoid it on my skin. But I do know that you could Google it and have many people arguing the opposite.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't we get into green beauty?
Let's.
Speaking of all these wonderful things we can use on our skin that are natural and we can find at home, it's a great place.
Yeah, so it's so hard. So when I started The Good Glow, my whole plan was to have this website and it was going to be amazing, and the graphics and the design, and I have been working away at that to share my passion for the efficacy of natural skincare, to like really celebrate that, to just celebrate natural skincare as an alternative to, say, a more traditional synthetic based skincare. Then like the world ended and all my best laid plans, what I turned to, especially in those first couple of weeks, was my at-home kind of spa rituals. And those often include things like the coconut coffee body scrub, or my kind of face mask that I can make with things from my house or in my kitchen. And I sort of thought, if this is helping me feel either distracted or comforted in this time, perhaps it can help other people. So despite my best laid plans and my type A personality that wanted it to just like be launched and like ready to be a multi-billion-dollar business, I just sort of jumped 2 feet in, went to a platform, Instagram, to share those things in this time. I'm leaning more towards that currently right now, so that I can keep helping people when they're at home and they want to feel beautiful or pampered or luxurious. But my ultimate goal is to sort of educate you so that when you go out and you've made a choice that you want to buy a natural or green or clean or eco beauty product, you will feel confident that you're getting something that's worth the money that you've invested into it, that's going to help with your skin. And honestly, in order to do that, you do need to be really highly educated. And I was kind of sitting around thinking, where do I begin? There's so much that I can talk about. And I think a lot of people would love if I just was like, I use this and my skin looks great. But the thing is my skin's different from your skin and your skin and your skin. So what I personally use, while I would definitely promote those products, isn't going to be the fix for you. Most likely you need to find what's going to work for you. And I really kind of grappled with like, where do I begin to help people who are trying to navigate the natural skincare industry, which really made me have to think about the question, what is natural in the skincare industry? So the reality is the term is unregulated. So like, unlike a certified organic product where there are, you know, countries have their own certification board to label a product certified organic, there's nothing like that that exists for natural, labeling your skincare brand natural. There's no like mandatory requirements or a set standard for in order for a skincare brand to say our skin is natural, right? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Sorry, I'm laughing because it reminded me of this video that we watched the other day about the lady who was talking about why they drink natural light beer.
Natural beer?
There's a beer called Natural Light, apparently. Don't ask.
Oh.
And we drink it because it's natural. And it's like,
isn't all beer kind of natural? I mean, it's not really natural. I guess it went through.
You're right. It's confusing though for consumers, right? People see the word natural, they see eco or green, and they think the great. This is, you know, this is the one. I'll get this, and they feel good about it. So, yeah, it's a good conversation to be having.
Or you turn over that product that the person at Sephora or Detox Market or anywhere has said, you should totally use this. And you see a bunch of ingredients that you're like, what is polysorbate? What is ascorbic acid? What are these products or what are these ingredients? And they don't sound natural. They sound like chemicals, which they are, but like everything is a chemical. So the other kind of side of that question too, what is natural, is that the definition of natural kind of means different things to different people. It probably means something different to me than it means to you and you and you. Like when you think of natural, what do you think of?
I think of something that just grows from the earth. Like I just think of something that naturally grows.
Totally.
I think of something that either, it is naturally like derived from plant sources or earth sources, but could also technically be made in a lab. Because the labs can mimic everything nowadays, in my opinion.
They can totally. They tell you we're gonna can totally touch on that.
A lot of things in labs, and you know, some of
It's
it
not faking it. But anyways.
It's all smoke and mirrors. So even that, so you guys kind of have differing opinions of what natural is. Obviously, we all kind of think natural. We think earth and plants and nature, which are definitely correct. But when a skincare brand is committing to make a natural product, that skincare brand's definition is what it means to them. And another skincare brand's definition is going to be what it means to them. So for you as the consumer, you need to understand, I think, what the word natural means in relation to cosmetic ingredients, because then you can decide what your definition of natural means, and you will be able to like wade through this very saturated, trendy market and find the brands that align with what your definition is. If it's not mandated, like an organic, certified organic product, then you need to know what is important to you. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm really a proponent of not villainizing synthetic products. I'm not really into scaring people into using natural. I want to celebrate it. I want you to find joy in it, the kind of joy that I find in it. But there are going to be the bad actors that will misuse the term natural to get you to purchase their product. So you'll also be able to wade through a lot of that noise as well, right? So where do we begin? So the place we begin, and we're like about to get a little bit sciencey, is that, in my opinion, cosmetic ingredients can be, well, natural ingredients can be divided into 3 categories. So we're going to start with category 1, and we're going to kind of get a little sciencey, but I promise I'll try and make it make sense. So the first category is called a naturally occurring ingredient. It's pretty much what it sounds like. It is an ingredient that is obtained from a natural resource, and it retains its original chemical or original molecular structure without any chemical modifications. That was the science. Easier to understand is you go out into your garden and you pick a seed and you cold press that seed and you produce an oil, and then you create a skincare product using that oil as an ingredient. So those are things that are like plant oils and butters and waxes and clays and salts. They're really close to your Adriana's definition of natural. It's from the earth, right? Just because the seed changed from a seed to an oil on a molecular level, it has remained the same. Its physical shape has changed, but not its molecular shape. Make sense?
Yes.
So when you're
with you.
sorry?
So far, we are with you, I think.
Okay, good. And these are like, for me, these are like those things that you are then going to be able to use in the kitchen, right? You can use a sweet almond oil and you'll learn why it's good for you, whose skin it's good for, what types of skin issues it can treat, all that kind of stuff. These are the products that you could obtain really yourself, and you could formulate a pretty basic skincare product, and they're like the skin loving superstars, right? And you're going to see them at the top of the list of most skincare products in the ingredients list. You're going to see shea butter, cocoa butter, olive oil, all of these things. They're going to be in this category.
Awesome.
Everyone enjoying the science lesson so far?
I love it. These are my ingredients.
So the next category is where like opinions and the personal definition of natural begins to diverge. And these are called naturally derived ingredients. So naturally derived or plant derived, you'll also see them called, means, science alert, means that the ingredient is obtained from a natural resource and it undergoes a degree of chemical modification to create a entirely new molecular structure. In like plain speak, you take that seed and you made your oil and then you did some chemistry with it and you produce something that is totally unrecognizable as the oil that you started with. The question being why, right? Like, why would you do that? That question starts to needs to be asked in terms of like the type of product you want to make. The reality is that the type of products that can be made using only naturally occurring ingredients are limited. And once you want to start making more high functioning ingredient or products, you are going to need these naturally derived ingredients to act as emulsifiers, solubilizers, preservatives, because you're going to start adding ingredients in that require these kind of workhorses of formulation. So an example to make it make more sense is if you want to make a cream, which that's pretty much the like gold standard of skincare, a cream, you are going to want to combine water and oil, and water and oil don't mix. And so you are going to need an ingredient that emulsifies, which means it binds these two ingredients that don't want to bind together. You need to hold it together. An emulsifier does not exist in the forest. You can't go to the emulsifier plant and pick an emulsifier seed. You need to create it. In traditional synthetic-based skincare products, obviously they were just creating emulsifiers all they wanted, right? Naturally made formulations obviously want to go a more natural route. And so they have derived these emulsifiers from a natural resource as opposed to fully creating it in a lab.
Right.
And where the kind of argument starts to begin is the question of, is an ingredient still natural if it no longer looks like the ingredient that it came from? And that's where also you as the consumer, I think, need to kind of make the decision of what's important to you. In my experience, these are excellent ingredients. They don't hurt you. They do create more high performance products. Science is great and chemistry is great. But I know that there is a lot of kind of talk from some people who say absolutely no to these things, and they don't want them on their skin or anywhere near them. And that's fine too. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's not. I want like a really great serum that's going to keep me looking young for the rest of my life. Aging's beautiful.
If only there was that magic serum just sitting somewhere in a forest that we could just pick and apply.
Oh.
Would just be wonderful.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So far, like, so good. I know, it's like I feel like I'm at school right now teaching my students about
so great though.
Okay, good.
Question.
Yes.
Also the case that like when in terms of actual sustainability, like natural is good, but having to go out and get things from nature when you could make them in a lab kind of seems sometimes like unsustainable because you need a lot more product that way. You'd have to like remove a lot of nature to make whatever you want to make.
You literally,
which could be, I don't know, just really hard on the environment, for example.
Definitely. And you are literally like segging into the third category. Who are you? Are you a sequel formulator? So, okay, that question brings us to the third category, which is the category again that like now there are fist fights over whether this can be considered natural or not. And that category is nature identical. So it's exactly what Lynn was describing. It's an ingredient that is not obtained from any natural resource, and instead it is synthetically processed in a lab, but on a molecular level, it is identical to that ingredient found in nature. So what you're saying is this a question of sustainability. And I think that this is the most kind of fascinating category for ingredients because it really does sort of answer the questions of environmental impact and sustainability. So like take, for instance, an ingredient called citric acid. You've probably heard of it. It's not only used in beauty products as like a pH balancer, which means like our skin has a pH level and we disrupt it anytime we do anything to it. But also in food as a pH balance, like it's used massively on scale throughout the world. And obviously it can be derived from a citrus fruit, but to produce it on the scale that we consume is totally not feasible and unsustainable ultimately. So some scientists go into a lab and they create an ingredient that is on every level completely identical to the naturally derived version of citric acid. And to be honest, most skincare lines are probably getting and using a naturally derived or a nature identical citric acid, whether they even know it or not. Like, because to commit to using an only like derived from a citrus fruit citric acid, I think you would have to be your own supplier on that as a skincare brand and a formulator. So for me, that's, again, knowing those three categories helps you, the consumer, decide what's important. Obviously, for the four of you, your impact on the environment and sustainability and all of those questions are deeply important. So having nature identical ingredients would probably be something that you'd be advocating for, right? But there are some people who would say, absolutely not, it's made in a lab and I don't like it. And so you have to kind of square that with what are your values and your priorities. I think where, you know, maybe some of what I at least find interesting, because I'm happy for ingredients from all of these categories, is that you may associate an environmentalist with someone who's like, I'm only going to use natural, it's only going to be from the earth. But does that really square with your commitment to the environment? Not necessarily. And there are a lot of totally unsustainable, not eco-friendly natural skincare lines out there that's not part of their priority or their mandate. But if it is to you, then they're probably going to be using from that category because that's part of their commitment. And the lucky thing for you is that you can go into a store, and most of them are going to be very proudly proclaiming, we are committed to sustainability, we're committed to this, and then you can do some research to see if they really mean that or not, but hopefully they do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's, I think for me, when I was like, how do I begin? How do I start teaching people about skincare? It's like, well, we have to start with this. I can't just start and say, use a retinol or use B3 serum or use all of these things without you understanding kind of the macro basics of natural skincare. And then, you know, over time, we're gonna like keep funneling down from here to like the really micro things. Like, I have this very specific thing that I want to address about my skin, and how can I do that? Do you know what I mean?
As consumers, like when we are shopping for things and looking at ingredients or even researching brands, how do we know? Because natural is not regulated, and because I feel like I don't think brands are going out there and stating nature identical or naturally derived. They're not making those differences. So like in terms of even an ingredient list, if citric acid is in something and it's a nature identical citric acid, would they list it differently, or is it all just like citric acid?
No, because I mean, molecularly it's citric acid, whether it was made in a lab or derived from a fruit. I mean, labels do, I can't really remember the like term, but there is like an international sciencey sounding terminology, which is why you may see coconut oil listed as cocos nucifera as opposed to coconut oil. Some product lines like to put that sort of international standard word for the ingredient, and then in brackets they'll put shea butter so that you know. Do you know what I mean? I think the question you're asking is really why I'm creating the Good Glow, is so that you have that resource that you'll be able to go to if you're looking at an ingredients list and have no idea what you're looking at. If you go to the Good Glow, you'll be able to find this information. So you'll be able to decode an ingredients list better than you can now, because you might recognize shea butter, but you're not going to recognize polysorbate or ascorbic acid or tocopherol. That might seem like a chemical and scary to you. It is, but it's fine. Those things are you're going to know, oh, I know what that is and I know how it works. I mean, if you're really, really concerned about where an ingredient is derived from, you can always reach out to a skincare brand. I have done it before with questions about what is this? Why does it exist? Can you explain it to me? And I've always had the skincare brand, whatever marketing PR person, get back to me with an answer. So it all depends on what's important to you too. If you don't want to like really do all that work and you're not crazy like me, you don't have to. But having at least a more of a sense is really going to empower you to go into that store and feel confident in the purchase you're making. And ultimately, I think that's really what I'm trying to do, is to help you feel empowered and excited to go into that store and not go home and regret the $100 that you spent on that Gigi natural cream, right?
And I think that's it. Like, that's a huge issue. Like, I'm trying to find something now that will work well for my skin, that is natural, that is affordable, that is zero waste, that is cruelty free. Like, I have all these boxes that I want to check in almost all of the products that I buy. And it's so hard to go into even a health food store and try to navigate all of those products. It's really challenging.
It is. It's super overwhelming, and it's oversaturated. I mean, I think the whole world can be like that. I could worry about where my avocados come from. I don't want people to be stressed. That's the last thing I want. I mean, stress is super bad for your skin, so it wouldn't be good if I stressed you into buying products, but I'm really trying to advocate for you to be able to go into an intimidating environment that is full of information and words and terminology that are going to be unfamiliar to you, to be able to go into that like I do and be like, no, I don't want to use this because I don't like that they use this ingredient, or this isn't going to work for me despite what this salesperson is saying, because I know that this and this ingredient are not good for my skin. And the reality is the people selling that stuff in those stores are probably not going to be educated on the hundreds and hundreds of products that they have. So if you know what your skin needs and what you want to address and what ingredients work for that, you're going to be able to find that product with their help for sure. And just be happier, because for me, I spend a lot of money on my skincare. You don't have to, but I do. And I seldom regret what I buy.
Is there a brand or a few brands that you've come across, that you've done research on, that you feel comfortable saying are quite natural or that you really like?
Definitely. The reason I love natural skincare is because I started working as a receptionist a very long time ago, and I don't anymore, but in a natural organic skincare spa here in Toronto, Pure and Simple, shout out. And that's where my love of natural skincare came from. I would say if you went into any of their stores, not only is their front desk staff going to be really well trained, but they have a really high standard for what they put into, or what product lines they carry. And they still have some of my lifelong loves. Just Pure from, I think it's from Germany. Not sure, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful packaging. Those are incredible moisturizers. They have incredible moisturizers. The thing I love about German natural skincare is that their environment is very similar to ours. So they have winters and dryness. So they have some really nourishing, winter skin loving ingredients and products. There's another one from Germany called Martina Gebhardt. It is the cheesiest looking packaging you'll ever see, that you would never think to use it, but if you do go and use it, they're so beautifully formulated. They're so skin loving. What else? What else do I really like? I love Naturopathica. A lot of my kind of lifelong loves of skincare are also the brands that have just been around for a really long time. A lot of them are the trailblazers of the movement. Yeah, those ones. And I mean, I haven't used it very much, but because I'm watching my wallet, as I think everyone is, and I've run out of some things while in isolation, I've been trying Mad Hippie, which is a super natural, really kind of, it's in the word hippie, crunchy granola kind of skincare product that you can get at Essence of Life in Kensington, or I think you can even get at well.ca. They have a lot of natural products, and they, for me, based off of my spending, are quite affordable. They're in the kind of $40 to $60 range, which I know sounds expensive. For me, it's kind of not. But I decided to try them because I wanted to sort of reduce the cost that I usually just so laissez-faire sometimes throw at these things. And so far, I'm beyond impressed with them. So, I mean, beyond impressed. The products are amazing. And I did my research and I looked them up beforehand and saw what ingredients were, and like, they're really, really, really good.
Amazing. I'm definitely gonna, I've seen Mad Hippie around, but I've never tried it. So I will add that to my list.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's also not an overwhelming line. It doesn't have like a bajillion products. It's a little less, you know, this is for this type of skin and this is for this type of skin. It's a little more general. So it also won't be as overwhelming to be like, okay, now which one of these things do I pick? You could just be like, well, the only face oil they have is this one. I guess that's the one I'm getting.
How about everybody else? Does anyone else have any natural skincare lines that they gravitate to generally? And also, we have somebody who just joined us. Hi, Kay.
That's my
Good.
Oh, wonderful. So, are you going to say something?
Yeah, I have a question actually, and it's not about my skincare because I don't really use a lot. But I have a question about EWG. What is your the environmental working group, like how they do the grading of different ingredients and stuff? And I was just wondering if you had any opinion on that, because I used to use it, and then I'd heard some kind of less than positive reviews in terms of it. I don't know, it wasn't like negative so much, but it was just like, well, I wouldn't always rely on that. So I'm just wondering if you have any take on that.
I've honestly never heard of it. Yeah, so I can't really speak to it. I mean, I have to say that, please, you know, don't judge me too harshly. Environmental impact isn't on my priority list. It definitely is, but I have other priorities. So when I'm looking for a product, its environmental footprint is not as important on that list. I'm gonna definitely go more towards the efficacy and the quality of those ingredients. To some extent though, those product lines are already going to be considering environmental impact. But as far as to what you're asking about, I don't quite know what it is, so I can't really speak to it.
No worries, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah, well.
I have a question also. In order to get to know your skin type, like how did you go about it? Did you consult a professional, or was it just trial and error over the years, or?
Well, from working at Pure and Simple, part of the training they have there was one, using everything in the store. They let us sample everything we wanted to. And they also really did educate us on skin types and skin issues, skin concerns. So I just figured it out, obviously. But one tool that they used us, and again, I'm like, that's sort of, we're in the macro still, and we're like gonna start moving down towards maybe the middle, where skin types and how to know what you are, and skin issues and all that stuff exist. One tool they helped us use, or had us use, to help if, say, you just walked into the store and we're like, I need a moisturizer, and you're like, okay, well, I have 5 of that, like 500 of them. Where to begin? They use the Ayurvedic principles to kind of really quickly decode somebody's skin, so that we would know really quickly to like, oh, sorry. Did not hear that.
I think it was just an accident.
Yeah, I think you're good to go.
Okay. So I'm not an Ayurveda expert, so I don't want to butcher it. Do any of you know what Ayurveda is?
Tony
Yeah.
does.
Tony does.
Tony does. Woo!
She's like, great. So I won't talk to you about it though.
I'm not an expert in it at all. I did my yoga teacher training at a place that specialized in both yoga and Ayurveda, so we learned a little bit. based on the doshas and that sort of thing. But again, I'm not an expert.
I mean, maybe you could speak to like what doshas are.
Yeah, it's sort of the idea of what your constitution is, or like what your makeup is in terms of the element balance within each person. And that's different for every person. So there's like these three main doshas. So there's Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. And it's like, so for instance, Vata is a combination of air and ethers, which is very light and dry. And then there's like Pitta people who are, I think, fire and water, and they're more oily and a little bit more hot and prone to inflammation. And then there is the Kapha people who are earth and water, I want to say, and they are more heavy, possibly a little bit cooler, a little bit more prone to possibly things like acne. But it really, everyone has all three of these things in them, and the balance is the important thing. So everyone's a little bit different, and by all means, if you're interested in that, please consult someone who is an Ayurvedic.
Yeah, consult people who know. But those basic principles that you described, those three doshas and kind of characteristics of like fire, air, and earth, are what they trained us in to be able to like look at someone and go, okay, well, you're a Vata, so you're a really airy person, and I would probably be able to figure that out pretty quickly based off of like physical build, their personality, because those Vata people can kind of be a little airy and and like a little bit flighty, which is great. And I would know, okay, these people are going to lean towards having dry skin or dry skin conditions. And so I'm going to take away all of these options now that they just want a moisturizer, and I will go into these products that are maybe a little richer, are contain soothing ingredients, all that kind of stuff. Same with like Pitta. I'm very Pitta, I'm very type A personality. I'm more of an athletic build. I have a lot of heat in me. So Pitta people, we don't want to stimulate them any more than they really are. And I would be able to really see that and go, I'm talking to a Pitta person right now. So I'm going to take away stimulating products that maybe have lemon or, like that have ingredients that are too stimulating. And I want to calm you. I want to calm that heat down. And then with Kapha, they are, as you said, like kind of earth, and they may be more prone to acne or thicker, oilier skin types. Their circulation might not work as optimally as it could all the time. And so we want to give them products that are going to actually stimulate their circulation, that maybe aren't on the richer side and are a little on the lighter side because they already are more naturally oily. So we used it as a very general tool to be able to like quickly help someone who just walked into the store. So in terms of answering your question of like, how do you start to understand that? Again, you can look it up online and start to you have to educate yourself, or you could go into Pure and Simple. And I'm sure that many of the people there are probably still quite well trained and would be able to help you start to kind of determine what your skin type is and the sort of ingredients that are going to lean towards it. And all of those questions really do kind of feed more toward back into why I'm starting the Good Glow, is so that you can educate yourself and you can know what your skin needs are and the things that you want to achieve with your skin, so that you can go into that store and know you're getting a product that's going to work for you. And the only way you can do that is to know what you're working with, right?
I love that. There's actually a Pure and Simple within walking distance of my house in the beaches.
Oh,
and
the beach was fun.
Yeah.
That didn't even exist when I worked there, but yeah, they're great. They're really amazing, and the owner is amazing. And yeah, when I first started working there, I was like, organic schmatic, whatever. And then like after a month of using it, I was like, okay, this works. It works better.
Well, if your skin is a testament to their products, then I want them all. Because they look great. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I wanted to really quickly let everyone know that I forgot earlier to remind you, when you use this wonderful coffee scrub, please, please, please take a photo and tag us. You can tag Collective Impact Journey. We do a little giveaway for every single episode. We write a nice little letter and we give away some seed paper, which consists of wildflowers and fresh herbs. And then of course, obviously tag the good glow, the underscore good underscore glow, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, perfect. And you will have a chance to win, which is really exciting. And I think we are probably going to head into the lightning round, unless anyone has questions or there was anything else that you wanted to share before we wrap up. No? Everyone's good?
I feel like I've talked to your ears off, so.
It was fantastic. I'm really excited to get out there and start looking at labels and really paying closer attention to everything that I'm putting on my skin.
That's exactly what I want. I want you to be excited to go out and not overwhelmed and intimidated. So yay!
Yeah, I'm excited. What? I'm gonna go to Pure and Simple. I'll take a photo. I'll tag you in that one for sure. Okay, so we're gonna head into this lightning round. Let me pull up my questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
I know, I make it sound very terrifying. It's really not. Okay, cardio or weights?
Weights.
Facebook or Twitter?
Neither.
All right, Instagram then. You never leave home without.
Oh, my lip gloss. No, lip balm. Sorry, lip balm.
I would that. You know what? That's funny. That's my next question. Lipstick or lip gloss?
Lipstick, but really, I just mostly use balm.
Okay. While walking, music or podcasts?
Depends on how I feel.
I like that. Guilty pleasure.
Oh, The Bachelor / The Bachelorette.
Are you watching the one right now where they're all musicians?
No, because I missed the first episode, and I feel like I needed to see the first episode.
Oh no, you can jump in The Bachelor at any given moment, and it is a hoot. Do it, do it, do it. Okay. Canoe or kayak?
What do I like? I like kayaking, right? Kayaking.
Big party or small gathering?
Oh God, small gathering.
And at a movie, candy or popcorn?
Popcorn.
Love it. And then one beauty product you cannot live without.
The lip balm. Lip balm again.
Lip balm. Oh, any particular brand?
I literally need to put some on right now. So
Okay.
advertisement for hurrah! It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute favorite.
Ooh, I've never seen that one. Is that a natural product?
All natural. This one's tinted because you may have noticed I'm very pale. So I look dead most of the time, and this one gives me just a little, little tint to my lips, so they're not blue. Yeah, all natural. You can get it at, I get this at Noah's. You can get it at Detox Market. I think you can buy it online at well.ca. Yeah, I feel like it's made in Toronto. I could be wrong. Anyways, it's my absolute favorite. Actually, my absolute favorite. I don't want to advocate anyone buying anything right now. I really don't. But there are so many things that I'm like, I want to tell you what I love.
Okay, well, on that note, is there anything you want to leave us with that you love? Is there anything that you didn't get a chance to talk about or you didn't get a chance to mention that you want to throw out there?
I don't think so.
No, you're good.
I think we covered so much.
We really did. We really did. Thank you so much. It was fantastic chatting with you and learning with you. I'm really excited to get out there. I'm sure we all are. And I will tag you in my photos. Please, 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 everyone, if you're watching, do the same. We want to see how amazing your skin looks after you try this delicious. I say delicious because it smells wonderful. I'm a coffee lover, clearly. The body scrub. And again, do not use on your face. Just use it on your body. Yes?
So great. I learned.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you again so much. Thanks everyone for joining, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.